Just a smidge.
And speaking of concerning, to say the least, that brings us to our next story. New Hampshire Libertarian Party shares and deletes a post that suggests that assassinating Harris would be heroic. So if you didn't see this, the New Hampshire Libertarian Party made a post on Sunday before deleting it the same day, according to a screenshot shared by New Hampshire political journalist Colin Booth. And the the tweet said, "Anyone who murders Kamala Harris would be an American hero." They then...
You know, it's funny. The Libertarian Party, the party about all of the freedoms, is just sitting there going, murder, 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 murder.
Makes you wonder about libertarians in general.
Don't tread on me, but definitely tread on her.
Here's the thing. Listen to the reason they say they deleted the tweet. Like, did they delete it because they realized that they were calling for political violence and that's a bad thing? No. Did they delete it because it's just a shitty thing to say in general? No. We deleted a tweet because we don't want to break the terms of this website we agreed to.
Because libertarians are all about the rules were in place, therefore.
Yeah, so I should mention this was sent to me by my anonymous source, as there are two news items that I got from them today. Yeah, the last one about Laura Loomer was also sent by my anonymous source. Yeah, I see other things that others of you send to me, but my anonymous source just seems to be like more in touch with the kinds of stories that I am inclined to cover, so they're just really good at picking them. Sorry. But yeah, so they say this next sentence is the main reason I wanted to pick this, because I just thought it was hilarious. So it's a shame that even on a free speech website that libertarians cannot speak freely, libertarians are truly the most oppressed minority.
I feel okay, so I'm just going to say something really, really blunt, but I think is entirely true. Every single person on here in their fucking political party right now grew up on 4chan hearing this exact phrase, and I shit you not, gamers truly are the most oppressed minority, and this is just a repackaged version of that. That is all this is.
Yeah. Was that ever said without irony?
No, in the beginning it was said with full chest. So the reason it was said in full chest, I can actually give you the history on this one. Does
it tie into Anita Sarkeesian?
No, this predates Anita Sarkeesian. This is Jack Thompson. This is ages ago. So this is like PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube era. Jack Thompson started one of the most well-known political crusades against M-rated games. He began with Mortal Kombat and then got very, very famous for championing trying to ban Grand Theft Auto. When he did this, one of the results of that campaign was San Andreas did end up getting an AO rating because there was a hot coffee mod that you could, or glitch that you could make happen in the game, and there was a lot of awareness put towards that, so the game did get pulled from store shelves as an M-rated game. But because Jack Thompson put so much pressure on the games industry, as it saying that games were too violent, games had too much sex, games caused violence, games caused people to be degenerate, promiscuous, etc. He started so much of this rhetoric and championed it as one of the biggest names before he finally got disbarred for all of the bullshit that he spewed. People unironically would say that gamers are an oppressed minority because he was attacking gaming as a hobby in the same way that a Republican would typically attack a minority group, stretching the truth in all the same ways. So there was a point in time historically where this was said unironically and full chest. But then as time went on, yes, it started to become far more of an ironic and stupid meme statement. But it does have a little grain of truth if you look at the history of how games media has been portrayed and how one certain lawyer tried to go after them for so long.
But I still wouldn't call gamers the most oppressed minority. Like,
I wouldn't either. I would say that it was always a stupid statement, but there is a grain of where it originated from.
Okay. So Chase Oliver, the Libertarian Party's presidential nominee, condemned the same deleted post. Thank you for resubscribing, Hammer the the
Hammer the
archaeology.
Sig? I always just said hammer the sig. And I've probably been saying it wrong the whole time.
I mean, I only just figured out how to say Morbid Palace.
Edic X in my chat says he's the reason they started to enforce age suggestions on games and movies. Age suggestions like the ESRB, I think, predates Jack Thompson.
Yeah,
but he is one of the main reasons we did have the AO thing for Grand Theft Auto eventually.
So I actually remember being a kid with one of my friends had the original NES, and there was a game that they got that they called me up and was like, hey, I got a game. It has a sex scene in it. And
like when they would go like, look at this game, God of War. You have sex to get your health back.
No, it wasn't God of War, but I don't remember what the fucking game was. But I do remember being super disappointed when I finally I went over to his house and he showed me the sex scene. The sex scene was literally just like a guy went into a house and you saw like silhouettes of like two people kissing, and then like the lights went out, and it very, very, very heavily implied that they had sex, but there was nothing explicit about it. And I remember being very disappointed with that. So it's like, yeah, no, the game didn't make me a pervert. I did that all on my own. The game disappointed me because it didn't hit my perverted desires as a horny teenager. Actually, I was probably preteen then. But Sean Helfin says it was on Nintendo. It was obviously Earthbound. Maybe. I don't know. I seem to think that it was like some film noir knockoff where you're like a detective trying to solve a crime, and that was like the love interest woman that is always in the film noir things. I don't remember really for sure.
She bounces between either being a damsel in distress or a femme fatale, depending on who's writing the story.
Yeah. So anyway, Chase Oliver wrote that as libertarians, we condemn the use of force, whether committed by governments or individuals or other political entities. We are dedicated to the principle of non-aggression and to the peaceful solutions of conflict. Not all libertarians are equally dedicated to that. But go on.
Yeah.
And he says, this is also something we pledge as a part of attaining party membership. What? A governing body that you need to meet certain criteria to become a member of? That sounds anti-libertarian to me. He says, Libertarian Party of New Hampshire statement should rightfully be condemned by all people. Yeah, sorry, like, the whole libertarian mindset, that goes against all of it. Like, I used to have libertarian tendencies myself. This would have rubbed me the wrong way. At the time.
Just like hearing that they would,
but
like,
however, I would not have responded like the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, which responded to it by telling him to fuck off, read any book on libertarianism, and then call him a homophobic slur, which I'm guessing also starts with F.
Jesus Christ. I'm hearing the same thing that happens when like some hardcore like tanky goes read theory and then puts a slur at the end of it afterwards, when you're just like,
yeah,
but I did. What?
Okay. That's basically the end of this news story. But before we go on to the next one, I do have to use the washroom, and I have built in some protections this time against Suris doing what he did last time. So I'll be right back.
You've built in
the throne of ivory, and it's all about poo.
He wrote his own bathroom
it's all
song.
About poo. Jesus! I'm sorry, Lord, for the mess I've made here. When it's all about poo, it's all about poo. Jesus!
You did this, Suris. This is your fault.
Yeah? I will gladly take that. I will gladly take that. I don't think you went to the restroom. I think you went to go get a beer, because that was timed perfectly.
No, I did go to the restroom, but I rushed back. I like ran up the stairs and like, oh, the song's ending. Gotta get back. And
you timed your bathroom song.
I did, yes. And that's why I have the wireless headphones today, so that I could time it.
I am going. So, because of that, Rhino, I am going to write a parody of your bathroom song.
But my bathroom song was already a parody.
Perfect. We're eventually, this is going to be unrecognizable as even music.
So, just think of what I went through to get that. Like, I had to hand my partner my phone and be like, hey, can you please record me sitting on the toilet going, Jesus, so that I can splice it into this song.
I mean, I think as a fellow YouTuber, you might have forgotten for just a moment you have access to a tripod.
No, because I threw out the shitty tripod that I took on vacation with me because I got mad, and that was literally my only other tripod, and I didn't feel like taking apart my teleprompter.
You know, that's entirely fair.
Yeah.
I can't fault you for that at all.
I got mad at that thing when I got back, and I'm like, oh, fuck this. If I need to travel with a tripod again, I'll just buy a new one and buy a good one, because this thing's a piece of shit.
Hey, that's my ring light actually broke inside my car. The one that I normally take with me for traveling.
Okay. just the track of the conversation that we've had so far. When you said inside,
Yeah?
my car was not what my brain autofilled.
my ring light broke inside my ass.
Me and Saki were using the ring light the other day, you see?
Is it in yet? Turn it on. I need to know.
I think I got the Rona, and Donald Trump said that light will solve it.
The black light. One man, one ring light.
Alex Markle says, aren't they like $10? Are you talking about tripods or ring lights? Because you can get a $10 tripod, but that thing will probably make me even more angry. It's like the one that I got angry at that I threw out, that thing was like $50 to $75. And it was a piece of shit that, like, not even joking, the video that I recorded with that thing took probably twice as long as my normal videos would have taken. Now, there was more than just the tripod that impacted that calculation, but the tripod was a significant portion of it. So, like, yeah, you can get a $10 tripod, but that thing will be even worse than the piece of shit that I was using. So, like,
The
a
$20
decent
Amazon
tripod,
basic one isn't terrible.
a decent tripod, I bet you it is compared to what I'm used to now at this point. Like, I won't spend less than 150 on a tripod at this point.
I don't have 150 money for a tripod,
which is why I haven't replaced it yet.
I can't justify that.
Need more units of money. Yeah, no, I haven't replaced it yet because of that, because I don't really need another tripod at the moment. So, like, I can't justify the expense, but but the downshot is that I need to occasionally look at my partner and be like, hey, I need you to record me in this really weird scenario that you're gonna, like, look at me funny for, and then just be like, you have a weird job, but it does pay the bills.
Yeah.
All right, final story for the night. The U.S. Secret Service is investigating Elon Musk's assassination assassination tweets about Kamala Harris. I can say Kamala, I can't say assassination.
I forget what he actually said specifically, but I remember
he deleted it. So U.S. Secret Service has said that it's aware of deleted tweets from billionaire Elon Musk questioning why no one has tried to assassinate Kamala Harris or Joe Biden.
Is it maybe because they don't use the same kind of inflammatory rhetoric that galvanizes bases into doing things against them? That maybe why?
Calling Trump a threat to democracy is a direct call to violence against him, which is why we should actually prosecute him for calling for violence against the New York Times that he did immediately after the last quote-unquote assassination attempt. Like,
remember, everybody, demonizing the mainstream media is one of the 10 points of fascism.
Is it?
Just saying.
Huh.
Yes, actually.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah, Umberto Eco was very specific that was one of the things that a fascist does.
Who would have ever thought?
Did you seriously not know that one?
No, I knew that one.
Okay. Just trying to
that
gauge
was all
the
performative sarcasm. Yeah, no, that is. I mean,
Jessica
you never
says,
know in this day and age.
Justice, I thought there were 14 points. So there's a bunch of different schools for it, but Umberto Eco, I believe, did he use 10 points or 14? It's been forever since I made the video where I used his and Lawrence's points on fascism.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read that as well. But yeah, no, it is demonizing the mainstream media is definitely on the list. Like right after finding an outgroup to demonize. So the Secret Service said that they that it is aware of the post and that it intends to investigate the matter. So this is coming to us from Pink News, and I love what they do here in a minute. But so they say it's aware of the post made by the CEO of X/Twitter. It's like, okay, that's fairly normal. Most news outlets will be like X and then in brackets formerly known as Twitter. But we'll get to why I like the way they're handling this in a minute. Following the breaking news, or the news breaking that a Secret Service agent had intercepted the gunman as he fled the scene, excuse me, Musk posted, and no one is even trying to assassinate Biden/Kamala, which sounds an awful lot like a call to violence.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Just a little bit.
Yep. And then after it became clear that that was not such a smart thing to tweet, he tweeted out, well, one lesson I've learned is that just because I say something to a group and they laugh doesn't mean it's going to be all that hilarious to post on, and then they use the square brackets to indicate they're modifying the quote, Twitter. It's like they're not even going the X and then like in brackets afterwards formerly known as Twitter. They're just changing his tweet to read Twitter, and I love that they did that. That's just like, mwah. Fuck you, Elon.
Yeah.
But like again, this is just like he said a thing to a room of people and they laughed, because if they don't laugh at his bad jokes, he will probably fire them. And then he's like, oh, they thought that was funny. I will post this on Twitter. Ah, ha, ha. No, I will post this on X. Ha, ha, ha. And then he found out that, like, oh, no. They were laughing because I pay them to laugh. And then he tries to blame his misunderstanding that on, like, oh, well, it didn't translate well. He's like, no, that's not a funny thing to say either way.
Maybe if, God, I don't think you ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, right? Like, or not,
I've seen a handful of episodes, but not really.
So in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, there's a moment where the anti-hero for the series, Seto Kaiba, gets in his private jet and starts to go to another person's private island to try to question them about something that's relevant to the plot. And the music that plays in the background literally says, how come my only friends are the ones I've paid?
That has big Elon Musk vibes.
Yeah. Ay, oy, oy.
How come the only people that like me are people that I pay to like me?
Maybe it's because you're an asshole.
That's like, I saw a post, I don't know how real it was. I just kind of assume that all of these things are 100% made up at this point with like dead internet theory. But like there was a post where some guy was like, hey, my wife, before I married her, she was this vibrant and excited and full of personality and life and happiness person. And then like, as we were married for several years, she became like depressed and sad and grumpy about everything. And then we got divorced and I saw her at this event and she was back to the person she was before I married her. It's like, why couldn't she have been that for me? Like, I hate to break it to you, dude, but you were the problem in that equation. Like, there's really no other way to say it. And that, like, that's
you're the common denominator and wonder why. Yeah, that's
kind of how I look at these things. Like, yeah, and this is like there is actually a like there have been studies on this where people who have lots and lots and lots of money are often less happy because they can't make social connections. And it's not that they can't make the social connections, is that they have no way of knowing which social connections are genuine and which ones are, I have lots of money, so this person wants to hang around with me because I have lots of money, in the hopes that some of that will rub off or whatever.
It's almost always best if you have access to a lot of money or a lot of capital and it is not a known thing. If you want to know who your friends are, then just say you went broke. You will very quickly figure out who is going to stand by you and who isn't. If somebody somehow stops checking in on you, stops talking to you, stops maintaining a friendship with you when you no longer have access to that money or capital, then you knew that they were a fair weather friend, that they were fake, and their only goal was to be there for your money. If they end up sticking around and they go, hey, you had it once, what can I do to help you? Do you need me to get your sandwich today? Like any of those things, maybe you've actually got a decent friend there. Who knows?
So, I'd have trouble with that because, like, even when I don't have a lot of money, my gut reaction when I'm, like, out to dinner with friends or whatever is still like, no, I got this. Like, yeah, I'm going to regret, I'm going to regret saying I got this later, but I got this.
Like, it is...
Jassa says, I wonder if Harlan Crow really likes Thomas. No, he doesn't. He likes what Thomas can do for him by ruling in his favor. Like, that's a strictly quid pro quo relationship. Anyway, Secret Service says, as a matter of practice, we do not comment on matters involving protective intelligence. Obviously, we can say, however, that Secret Service investigates all threats related to our protectees. And that's a threat. Like, how else are you going to read that? Like, ha ha ha, no one is even trying to assassinate Biden/Kamala. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you know what I mean.
If you know, you know.
So, like, that's obviously a threat. Like, he can say that he meant it as a joke later, but, like, that's not how it comes across. So, in a statement, Vice President Harris wrote that she was deeply disturbed about the latest incident and condemned political violence. She said, we all must do our part to ensure that this incident does not lead to more violence. I'm thankful that former President Trump is safe. I commend the U.S. Secret Service and law enforcement partners for their vigilance. Can you imagine Trump putting out a statement like that if somebody attempted to assassinate Joe Biden?
No, I can't. I can imagine him staying silent or paying an intern. Maybe not paying an intern, getting somebody else to write it on his behalf and then him copy pasting it.
I can't even see that. I could see him, like, he would do what he considers to be something like that, but then he would immediately turn into, like, yeah, but he deserved it anyway, sort of thing. Like, I understand why someone would want to assassinate crooked Joe Biden,
but this is
let's
not
remember,
the way.
that's not the way. Yeah, no, like, he'd do something like that. Like, it wouldn't just be like, yeah, no, we don't do political violence ever. Please don't do this. I'm happy that he's okay.
Oh, whoa.
Olivia Williams sent $6.99 and says, 150 persons in the chat, only 36 likes. People press like. So thanks for super chatting to press like. I'm really bad at asking for people to like my videos, but I guess
everybody
other people in the chat...
Vice Rhino's content. He's a good YouTuber. There. I'll do it in the most obnoxious way possible.
Like and subscribe for more bathroom songs.
Because apparently we're going to have bathroom song wars now.
Yeah, apparently. So the White House also condemned Musk's deleted tweet, calling it irresponsible rhetoric. A spokesperson for the White House said violence should only be condemned, never encouraged or joked about. This rhetoric is irresponsible. I disagree. I think it's okay to joke about violence. Like, on a number of occasions, I've said something about the Trump near assassination thing, and you've been like, you know what didn't go through his head? A bullet. That's a joke about violence. I think that's fine. So, like, I wouldn't necessarily say we never joke about violence, but joking about violence in a way that encourages it, maybe not.
Also,
although I have done that on occasion too.
If you want to say that you can't joke about violence, as much as I want to live in the world where I can agree with you, the United States military, one of the most known coping mechanisms for every person with PTSD out of the armed forces is incredibly dark humor, oftentimes talking about violence. Like, abuse victims deal with that too. Like,
I have made people uncomfortable with my dark humor about the death of my wife. And my partner has joined me in that endeavor on occasion. Like there was a financing person when I bought the car that I bought. That like they need your details or whatever, and one of my details is I am a widower, and anytime somebody finds out about that, the socially appropriate thing to do is say, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," and I don't know what to do with that. So I'm just kind of like awkwardly fumbling around or whatever, and my partner just kind of looks at me like, "Yeah, well, I'm not," and I think that's hilarious, and she thinks that's hilarious. And the person that we're sitting in there doing the financing with, all like we kind of both got the vibes that like she has that same dark sense of humor where she also thought it was hilarious, but she's in a public facing job where she can't like let us know that she thinks that's hilarious just in case. And like, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it's a way. Like that kind of dark humor, that kind of cynicism, a lot of times it may be very off-putting to some people, but you never know when somebody's doing that solely because that is the thing that allows them to get up and go in the morning.
One of the doctors, when it became apparent that my wife was dead, and like she was still on the life support thing, is it like they kept her on it for a few days so like her brothers could come down from Montreal and everything and say their goodbyes or whatever. But like after it was like apparent that she was like she's not coming back, there's no recovery from this, I then like was doing dark humor stuff with like I don't think he was a doctor, he was like one of the people that deals with people in that situation, and he just like he rolled with it and was like, yeah, no, everybody, like there are lots of people that cope with this sort of thing that way. It's like, okay, so I'm not a weirdo. And I'm not going to give the specifics because like it might be too dark for even for even us, Suris.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I know how nasty we can get sometimes.
It sounds like something completely different after both the context of the shitting conversation and also the amount of gay conversations that have happened based on our audience as well. I don't know what direction this is going in, but
yeah, I'm just not even gonna give any hints. I'm just gonna leave it.
Okay.
But I find it very amusing. My partner finds it very amusing, but I'm not going to share it with this because I'll probably get canceled because it's so horrible, but also funny.
Is this a thing that you can tell me over private messaging later?
Probably, yes.
Okay, because now I'm curious and I want to know.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, it's actually a felony to encourage people to engage in conduct constituting a felony, and the punishment for that felony is like half the punishment of if you actually encourage someone to commit the crime, you now get half of whatever their sentence was. So Elon Musk has enough money that I doubt that's actually going to happen to him, but it's still kind of like it's a potential thing that's going to happen. But it's not actually going to because he has a lot of money. You going to bed?
Why are his only friends the ones he paid?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's it for news this evening.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Agamotto, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.